Hello, welcome back to my channel Lomzy. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how to make this Maxi jumpsuit. It's an halter neck jumpsuit. Okay, anyway guys, all I know that is an halter neck jumpsuit. So if this is what you're looking for, continue watching till the end to see how I made it. It's very simple and it's beginner friendly. If this is your first time coming across my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell icon. To make this, I'll be using 3 yards of fabric. If you're on the plus size, you can use 3.5. If you're on the tall side, you can use 3.5 yards. But I'll be using 3 yards, and I'm making this for a plus size, not a plus size. I hope you understand what I mean. Here I have chiffon fabric, as you can see. You can use crepe for this. You can use chiffon. You can use African fabric. You can use Duchess, you can use satin. Yeah, those are the fabrics you can use for this. Any fabric that is drapey would work for this. So you can see how the fabric is, and my marker will not come out from it very well, and pencil will not be good for it also. So I'm going to cut this on a pattern paper, and we transfer it to the fabric and cut it. So I'll set the fabric aside, and we're going to be cutting this on our pattern paper. I'll show you how to cut it on your fabric. So first of all, I will just use this as the edge, the shoulder line. I'll use this one as the shoulder line, and I'm going to use this place as the center front and the center back. So the first thing I'm going to mark now is the armhole length. The armhole length I'm using is 10 inches. I'll mark it here. The next line I'm going to mark is the waistline. From the shoulder to the waistline is 17 inches. I'm going to mark it here and connect this line. And the next line I'm going to mark is the body rise measurements. I don't need the hips measurement because I'm not doing anything on the hips. So the next line I need is the body rise measurement. From the waistline, I'm going to go down to the body rise measurement, which is 12.5 inches. I have tutorial on how to take different types of your body rise measurement. Remember, body rise measurement is the same thing as crotch depth. So I'm going to drop that video in the link below so you know how to get your body rise measurement. For mine, I'm going to use 12.5, and that's what I have here. So I'll just use my marker to draw out this line so that you'll be able to see the lines I have drawn out. So now this is the armhole, this is the waistline, and then this is the body rise or crotch depth. So this is where we're going to stop. We'll finish the rest of it on the material when we're cutting it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, this will be the center front and the center back. So the next thing we're going to get is the circumference of the dress. The first thing we're going to get is the shoulder divided by 2. So divide your shoulder by 2. You're going to take the measurement from one end of the shoulder to the other, the shoulder bone to the other, whatever that is. Divide that by 2, and you're going to mark it here. I like to use my pencil first so that it will be easier for me to, use the marker, because I don't want it to overflow. I hope you understand what I mean. Next, we're going to get the neck width. We're going to get the natural neck width. So your neck divided by 5, whatever that is, you're going to mark that here. So mine is 2.75. I'm going to mark it here. And the neck depth I'm going to use is 0.75. I'm going to mark it here. The neck depth for the front is 3 inches. I'm going to mark it here. And then I'm going to connect these lines. The next thing we're going to do is to drop the shoulder slope. I'm going to use 1.5 inches for that, and I'll mark it here. I'm going to connect this to this. And then we're going to make the armhole curve. For us to make the armhole curve, we're going to get the bust measurement. So the bust I'm using is 42 inches divided by 4 will give me 10.5. I'm going to mark 10.5 here. Remember guys, I'm not adding any sewing allowance to all this, so I'm just marking it straight. So I'm going to take this measurement down to the crotch depth. Next, I'm going to make a curve here. This is just to guide me on how to make the halter neck. So I'm going to make a curve here. This is normally how we do it, right? Yes. So now we are going to be making this an halter neck. So we are going to design it to have an halter neck design. So the next thing you're going to do is to decide if you want the halter neck to come to the shoulder or you want it to come in like this, wherever you want it to be. This is the time to decide that. So for me to do that, I will first of all, I want to come in 1 inch, and I'm going to mark the, I want to come in 1 inch. I will mark it here because this is going to be a sleeveless. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here, and I'm going to come up 1 inch. I'll mark this here. This basically means that if your armhole length is 10 inches, make it 9 inches. If it's 9 inches, make it 8 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the waistline also, and I'm going to mark 1 inch. And then I'm going to take this line out to the hip, to the crouch depth like that. So I'm going to come this way. So first I'm going to take the measurement of the neckline and I'm going to note it down. What I have here is 3.25. From here also I'm going to measure the front to know the neckline we're going to use. So what I have here is 16 inches. I will note this down, 16 inches. So we're going to use this to cut the neckline. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to make it an halter neck. Remember, this is the line where I'm taking. So we're going to continue and make this an halter neck design. So I'm going to come in like this and mark it from this place to this place. So I'll go ahead and curve it in. Let's go ahead and curve it in to give it a nice silhouette. For the back, you can come in more if you want to. You can come in more like this for the back if you want to. But this will be for the front. This will be for the front. So I'll go ahead and use my marker to make this visible. So remember, this is where we cut out from. So next thing I'm going to do is also to take the measurements of the front and also take the measurements of the neckline of the back. So here I'm going to take these measurements. I have 3.5 here. I'm going to note it down, 3.5 for the front. Also I'm going to take the measurements of the back and I'll note it down, 2.5. Go ahead and cut this out now. Remember, I haven't added any sewing allowance, so I'll place my fabric and use this one to cut out the back first, then we go over to the front. So I'm going to extend these lines to make this a jumpsuit. So remember, this is the back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 4 inches to the front, center front. So from the center front, I will mark 4 inches. I will also mark that on the neckline. This is for us to be able to gather this. So I'll drop this, I'll square it down to the crotch area. The same thing on the waistline. So I'll also do that on the crotch depth. I go ahead and square these lines out. Next, I'm going to mark the crotch extension. So from this center front, I'm going to come out for the extension, the crotch extension, which is 6.5 inches for the back. I'll go ahead and mark this and come inside, cut this inside like this for the inside leg. Guys, let me cut this out so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. For the front, I have also folded my fabric into two, as you can see. So the first thing I did was from the waistline, I went down the length of the pant trouser. I want it to be 42 inches and I have added 1 inch sewing allowance, which made it 43. And that's what I have here. So the next thing I'm going to do, just the same thing I did for the back. The only difference now is that I'm going to cut out the neckline for the front. So I'm going to cut out this here. And then I'm going to add 4 inches to the neckline so that we'll have a gathered in front. So I'm going to add 4 inches first. I'm sorry you guys will not see this, but I'm seeing it. So I'll also mark the 4 inches on the crotch line, and I'm going to square it out like this. Connect this line. So from this line, this is the center front line. I'm going to come out 5 inches for the crotch extension, and that's what I have here. And from here, I'm going to go inside like this. You draw the inside leg inside so that your pant trouser will relax properly. And then you're going to make a curve here. By the time I cut this out, you will see what I have done. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. Remember to add sewing allowance here and there and all that places. So first I'll go to my machine now and I'm going to sew this close. So this is the front after closing the center front. For the back, I'm going to make a hole here. So let me do that on the back and show you. For the back here, I'm going to cut out like 0.25. So now go to my machine now from here and sew it here like this. I'll sew it straight like this and stop here. Next, I'm going to use this bias and bind the neckline, and then I'm going to go ahead and place the front panel, the front on top of the back. You place the front on top of the back like this, and you're going to sew close the side seam. You close the side seam. This is it after hemming the armhole, and I've also gone ahead and close the side seam, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and close the inside leg, and I'm also going to hem the lower part. So I'll go and do all of that and come back to you. So this is it after sewing the inside leg, and I've also gone ahead and hem the lower part, as you can see. Next, we are going to go over to the neckline. So going over to the neckline, remember this is the back. Remember this is the back, and from here to here we cut out 1/4 inch, and we also closed it with 1/4 inch, which is 1/2 inch. So from here to here is 2 inches, and also from here for the front, from here to here is 3.5 inches as we have measured it. So you're going to set this aside, and then you're going to gather this. I have made a gathering stitches, so you're going to gather the back to be 2 inches. You gather the back to be 2 inches, make it 2 inches, and also for the front you're going to gather it and make it to be 3.5 inches times 2, which is 7 inches. So you're going to gather this to be 7 inches. Make sure you spread it out. Yeah, that's exactly what I have, 7 inches. So next, I have a rope here that I want to make for the collar. So what you're going to do is, what I have here is 60 inches by 4.5 inches, and I just went ahead and sew it here like this. So what we're going to do is, you're going to fold this into 2 so that we'll make the neckline. So you're going to fold this into 2 like this. Remember, the neckline we got for the full neckline is 8 inches. So folding it in 2 like this, you're going to notch from this place, you're going to notch 8 inches. So I'm going to measure 8 inches. This is on fold like this now, as you can see now. So from here, I'm going to measure 8 inches this way, and I'm going to notch it. So this will be where the back will start from, and then this will be for the front. So I'm going to notch this place for the front. From the back, we had removed ½ inch from the back. I'm going to notch ½ inch here. ½ inch, that's what we have removed from the back. I'm going to notch it here. Also for the front, what we have is 3 and sorry, my phone camera stopped when I was recording this. So what I did was I measured from the center front to here 3½ inches, which is what we have for the front, and then from the center back, this is where my center back is, I measured ½ inch. So this is where my center back, where I will start placing my center back to stop from here. And I also made a notch for the front. So I'll go and place this on my neckline. So this is the notch for the center front. I'll go ahead and place this on the center front like this, and I'm going to sew this way, so that way. And for the back, I'm going to start from this place and sew it to somewhere here. So I'll do all of that and show you the next two to do. So guys, I just realized that this is jumpsuit that I'm making, so I had to add a zip to it. You can add ordinary zip to this, or you can add invisible zip. And I would suggest, if you want to add the zip, in fact, that should be the first thing you should do. You should avoid opening the side like this, or if you still like the look, you can start from here. Else, you're supposed to start from the beginning to add your zipper. So your machine now, and you're going to fold this in ½ inch like this, and fold it again here like this. So you go ahead and pin this down first of all. Make sure you pin it down, and then after pinning it down, you go to your machine and you're going to use a stitch in the ditch method and sew on the front line. So I'll do that and come back and show you what I've done. I was done sewing it, as you can see. So we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.